hay, Corillo? Este es FLA.
And this is your captain speaking, Capitol.
And you are listening to InDaSpot. Man, Cap, we got special guest today.
We do.
Really special guest.
Fire.
They haven't been here to the podcast. We've known this special guest I've known them for a minute.
Right.
You're probably about to start getting to know them after this podcast.
Correct.
As well. But definitely, before we start the podcast, real quick, big shout out to the sponsors, Carreta de Oro. We in the building, Reposado. Big sponsor for the podcast. Pero no, vamos a empezar. Aquí, sin nada más y nada menos, let's introduce Mucho Info.
Let's go.
3 of the 5.
What
3 of the
up?
5.
Mucho over here. Hey, we got Mucho over here.
Let's go. How y'all
Love,
doing, man?
thanks for
How y'all
having
fellas
us, man.
doing?
How y'all guys feeling?
Good, we're blessed.
Good, man.
Happy to be here, bro.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate that. We appreciate you coming, man.
I appreciate the invite.
I mean, we're going to get into a lot of stuff right now. We want for everybody to get to know you guys. It's 5 of you, but 3 of you guys are here right now. Ed, right here, Hex, and Maui, part of Mucho Info, and they do everything that I was listening to is reggaeton, correct?
That's part
correct.
of it.
That's definitely
Right.
Yeah.
That's our majority genre right now.
Lately,
Is
that's what we've been
reggaeton,
dropping. Más que nada reggaeton.
and I can't wait to get into it because it sounds like y'all working on something new that is outside
Always.
the box
yeah.
right now. But let's start from the beginning, man. Let's start about y'all early beginnings. Like how did y'all get together? How did y'all find each other? You know, all 5 of y'all. How did y'all pick out this group? Why didn't y'all start off solo? Why y'all started off with a group? Or if you started off solo, what made you go into a group?
Well, we're all family, first off. My dad and this guy's dad are the same guy. We're brothers. My dad and this guy's dad are actual brothers. We're cousins. The 4th member, Yona, his mom and my dad are siblings. So we
Primos
were...
hermanos.
So
with
son
fate.
primo hermano todos.
It was
Yeah.
fate that we found each other.
Okay,
It was God.
perfect.
It was
Damn,
really
I didn't know that.
designed by something bigger. And And
And
of course, our boy DZ, we met him through college.
Yeah.
He's a fraternity brother with these guys.
What college y'all went to?
Georgia Southern.
Okay, bad.
And Georgia,
All
and Georgia
right.
State, but we met DZ and Georgia Southern.
But we
Okay.
rep Georgia Southern.
All right. Georgia Southern in the building. God damn it.
Hey.
Let's keep on going, man. So y'all met up. Did y'all start singing right off the bat? Like y'all knew what was going on, or what's going? Because y'all know ustedes son primo hermano, pero al mismo tiempo, like, where is that spark that made y'all be like, man, let's get into a group and let's start doing what we do. Let's start doing music.
Yeah, so us as family, right? Since we were kids, we played instruments. We were in choirs. Mainly, we were inspired by the church. So, like, he played the piano at church. I sang the psalms. He played the guitar. Jonah
Nice.
played the bass.
Our parents were in the choir, so we kind of had that influence.
Yeah,
too.
we were choir
Wonderful.
kids.
Yeah.
So we were like super church kids. I mean, we're blessed to have had that upbringing, right?
Of course.
That's where we nos desarrollamos los talentos, I guess you can say, right? Singing, playing.
And what's crazy, like in a parallel time, DZ was doing the exact same
yeah.
thing over in like
That's
South
crazy.
Georgia.
Wow.
He got involved in the church. I mean, he played guitar, learned that way as well. So it's like that was a huge connecting factor whenever we first met up and was like, yo, we were in our group chat and was like, hey, who smoke? And then he was like, hit me up. And back in the day, we would just do freestyle sessions and smoke, and DZ produced. So
That was the spark, probably.
that was the spark.
We would
yeah.
get together and freestyle like crazy.
That's
That is.
that is like
Yeah.
that's one of those cipher moments where
Yeah.
you with the homies sparking up in the whip and everybody's
Literally,
just
bro.
yeah.
Sometimes
that's
in the
beautiful.
woods because we were like 16. So we
Oh
were,
yeah,
like,
so
we
you
were
couldn't
back at the
you
house
couldn't
at
smoke
2
in the
morning,
whip.
sneaking out of the crib. We were in a little circle.
Sneak out the
passing it around,
window.
freestyling for like 6 hours straight. So we would always just do it for fun at every party. I mean, and we were almost the annoying guys. You know, it's like if we were hanging
So
out.
y'all telling me y'all was in church, doing everything church wise, but then y'all had that little almost that spark that put y'all together that made y'all go outside. Because if y'all in church,
Yeah.
did your parents always agree with this? Did y'all? I'm not talking about
So
smoking weed. I'm talking about most church people would be like, yo no quiero que tú hagas eso type stuff, like
Right.
reggaeton or even trap or rap or whatever.
Yeah.
They
hell
don't want
no,
you to
yeah.
go that road.
They never even
Right.
wanted us listening to reggaeton and rap.
Yeah, when we were young.
Like,
yeah.
yeah, we really couldn't even listen. We had to listen to that shit in secret.
Yeah, they
We
say
couldn't play.
they say the strictest parents make the sneakiest kids.
We couldn't
Yeah.
play Call of
It's true.
Duty.
It's true.
We couldn't stay out like after 11, so we were like sneaking out and type stuff, And then, but as far as the reggaeton and the music, they've never given us any pushback as far as the the creativity of what style we put out. They're always just like, no, don't do anything too vulgar. Don't do anything too like bad or mean. But as far as the genre or anything like that, they don't care. They don't want to sing in gospel. They want us to do what we want to do.
Right.
That's
I like
dope,
that.
though.
So
At
that
least-
so
at
they're
least
behind
it's
you.
supportive.
So to finish the part where we actually got started, it was like in college, these guys were producing beats, we were freestyling, and we decided to just buy some studio equipment one day. Like, hey, let's actually record some of
Who
these
was doing the
freestyles.
beats?
Edgy mainly.
Me
Okay.
and DZ too, the black guy.
Yeah,
Great.
they would both
Okay.
basically show us beats and we would freestyle. One day we just had the bright idea to start recording, and we made a lot of like R&B, hip hop, different songs.
And y'all was at college at this time.
Yeah.
George, so y'all was in the dorm room or whatever, or your house or whatever.
Yeah. We actually all lived in a house in Atlanta.
Okay, that's fire.
Yeah, we had like a 4-bedroom house.
All
We had a
5 of
studio.
Mucho in one crib. That's
We
really
all lived
nice.
together for a good 6 months. And that's when we just started hanging out every day. We'd wake up in the morning, smoke, get in the studio every night in the studio.
Especially when
we'd be out in
COVID hit.
Atlanta at night.
Oh man,
Dude,
yeah.
this literally happened.
So this
like,
happened in COVID.
Like not a few
Ooh,
months
that's
before
fire.
COVID
Okay.
hit, and then when COVID hit, it really locked us into it because it
Yeah.
gave us something to do in the times that we were locked in at home.
Collecting unemployment. Shit was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, I wish
I
I
was the only
would've
one working from home. I just wanted
I
to be
was
unemployed with
working.
my friends.
I was getting double
I was
paid, but
working
I was
during-
working.
I was
but
double paid with
But that's
my-
hard. That's a good. Do y'all think even if COVID wasn't happening, this would have happened anyway?
It
Not
was
as
COVID
fast.
like forced you to be in the house.
It was
you
a
know?
big catalyst. It was a big catalyst. It allowed us to come together in a similar notion because we all thought about it. We all aligned with what it was, and we felt good about it. So it just gave us an opportunity to like set everything aside and really be able to hone in on this. Because I mean, everything was closed. We didn't really have anything to do. So it was a really good outlet. And most importantly, when we got together, shit just clicked. You know.
That's
Yeah.
fire.
We
That's
made
fire.
like 30, 40 songs in that 1 year in COVID. Like every week we were making a new song.
All right, so y'all made 30 or 40 songs, but let's keep it back. I wanna take it back even farther from that because I know if you guys are in the church and you guys are playing and singing in the church and everything like that, was it church songs, church artists that you guys gravitated to, or was it other type of artists? What was that artist that you guys
What was
said?
those influences?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Definitely
influences.
other artists.
Hip hop and reggaeton. All day, every day.
Give me that. Give me a specific artist that is your favorite that made you guys, each one of you. I want to hear it from each one of you. A specific artist that you guys said, "All right, I can do this shit." Like, what's up? Like,
I think for
that's the
me-
inspiration right there.
For me, like every year I have a new favorite artist depending on what they're doing. But like when we were first getting started, I had to say J Balvin.
Okay.
See,
That's a good one.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
J
That's
Balvin
crazy.
was
What about
really
you?
Yeah,
inspiring.
definitely have a few, but one that I always reference to that have always kept me lit was Chris Angel.
Okay.
Damn.
He
Yeah.
going
That's
old
even
school,
going
too.
old school,
Yeah,
like
that's good.
in
Nah,
the
but that
2000s.
music was
No, it was
very
fire.
instrumental.
And it's still
And-
timeless.
yeah,
Right.
it's
It's
timeless.
still
I mean, you can
timeless.
play
Yeah.
that song
That's
right
facts.
now. Bien baila. It's over.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going on. What about
about
you,
you?
Ed?
Even like when we first moved to Georgia from Boston, we discovered rap, right? Because we're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
All the radio stations. So
For sure.
Kanye
95.5
West,
The Beat.
back in that day, he was one of my biggest
Mm.
influences. Still is. He's a producer, artist,
Right.
very influential, very successful businessman, and we didn't just grow. We did not listen to gospel at all, or like any type of religion.
Okay,
music.
okay,
Like, we really
boom,
grew up
yeah.
on
We were
reggaeton,
fed up.
bachata,
So, yeah,
rap,
okay,
hip hop,
yeah.
like
Well, I
everything
mean, when you're
else.
singing
Everything
it,
else.
you're gonna
And
want to
I'm-
listen to something
Right.
else too.
And I'm not gonna say that Ed, I don't like, because I said I like that. Like is wrong because I grew up in church too. So
Word.
yes, I grew up like that the same way. My parents might have not been strict like you can't listen to everything because
Oh,
my
man.
dad didn't go to church, but my mom went to church and we had to go where
Oh no, I grew
bendición mami, by
I
the way.
grew up Jehovah's Witness, so that was
Oh,
forbidden.
you was strict.
Bro, I mean, I had that at maybe at the age of
Right.
8,
So
9. I was sneaking CDs in and out of the house.
Dang,
Right.
that's
Right.
right.
On,
So
no,
it was,
yeah.
it
Sneaking
was
an
almost.
Eminem
So y'all
CD.
was almost similar right there growing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no,
We
that's
had a-
why I'm like smiling when they're saying it because I'm like, yo, that is crazy because we all went through that, like keeping us from the music, but eventually we found our way to it. You know?
The
Didn't we have to
Latino
have
chill-
one of our uncles buy us like 2-3 albums that had the explicit content?
Oh, man, the
I
nonsense.
don't remember how we got it, but it was like
It was a mix. I know he
Kanye.
made a mix
It was a
too.
Kanye
Akon.
CD, a Young Jeezy CD
Young-
because of the
they went
Akon
in
song
street too. They
And
went straight to the
and
trap.
T-Pain.
Hey,
So
that's
R&B,
So that's
we love
crazy.
R&B shit too. That's just
That's fire.
Yeah.
I know
and
you
I hear it
guys.
in the music too.
Yeah,
You guys
for sure.
do have that influence.
I mean, you guys have amazing music, and what's
you, thank
crazy
you.
about it is, once again, to me, I never realized, since you guys do that urban trap, reggaeton, even all the way to like R&B almost.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. I've never seen that before. Like I know a lot of people may go back into the days and mention a couple crews, but me of a person, I haven't seen that prevalent in the Spanish community more like you see in the English community, because you see boy bands and boy band. I'm not calling y'all boy band, but I'm saying like you see
The
that
groups,
all
yeah,
the,
like
you
big
see the
groups.
groups all the time, the New Editions, the Jackson 5. You see that all the time. So seeing that with you guys and seeing how you guys separate your time, which that brings up another question. How you guys feel about that? How you feel? How you pick the person that's gonna be the lead singer? How you pick the person that's gonna take the first
creative
verse,
process?
the third verse, the hook. Do y'all get into arguments when I'm doing the hook? Shit, fuck, no, not you. Is that happening in the studio? Because me and Flacco, sometimes we may not agree on everything that happens in this podcast, and it's only 2 of us.
Yeah.
It's 5 of
So
y'all.
imagine
You know what I'm
5,
saying?
So there's a blessing to having 5, because now you can never be even on a decision. The decision will always be outweighed by the majority. So it's always going to be 3-2 if we're split on something. So because we're an even number, we can never like be undecided. Like we will always be like, all right, this is what's going down because majority says so. But with like you guys, it's like, how do you guys decide something? It's 50-50.
Well, let me take that back. It's 4 of us really in the whole
really
squad.
Yeah. But even then, like, what is the process for you guys to really when you guys sit down, get in the studio as 5?
Yeah.
I know that you guys are, like you said, Dizzy Edgy producing it. So but I've also heard Ed and Dizzy on the record singing. So it's like, even though you guys produce it, outside of who gets to produce it, how do you guys decide? How does that creative process of like who does the hook, who came up, or is it an order by who created it?
Because before y'all start, I'll be seeing Maui a lot. And it's only because, do y'all feel like he has, because obviously y'all all got to make the decision to make Maui the so-called the hook.
Right,
the person that y'all put in the front.
The hook man,
so
the lead
what
singer.
made y'all pick Maui in Dia 27?
Yeah.
In my opinion, really, it's the person who took the charge most, who took that initiative. And usually it's Maui as far as with the songwriting. He kind of comes up with the idea first. And we're going to always respectfully not kick somebody off when, oh, he came up with the idea. I'm going to force myself on that. So usually that's why he's the hook man. He really takes initiative. He takes the lead with it. And we all like his ideas.
Yeah, and I can add to that, like, when it comes to, I would say, business decisions, a lot of times we do have to make a vote, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, when it comes to business decisions, marketing, finance, release structuring, anything that has to do with structuring Mucho Info, the business moving forward.
Right.
We usually put it up to votes. Somebody has an idea, somebody presents a plan, and then we decide that way.
That's wonderful.
And the creative side, it's like, I would say like maybe 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, we were first getting to know each of our strengths. There was more of like, I remember always trying to structure the concept of everyone being on almost every song. So I used to like come up with an idea and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to be the chorus, and how about you be verse 1 and you be verse 2, and then, I'll do the intro. And how about the next song, you do the intro, then you do the chorus, and I'll be verse 1. And I was always trying to put those kinds of ideas together to give everybody their room to shine.
You're right.
But eventually that became really hard.
It did.
Because
I bet.
Everyone has different strengths.
Right.
So
everyone works on their own time too.
Over time, it just became like so natural that there's never a decision around how to be creative. It's really about who basically takes over, like who makes it theirs. So a lot of times
I like that.
A lot of times he'll make a beat that's like 80% done, and then DZ will come in and he'll add some sauce to it later. But by the time he has a beat, I'm typically writing an intro, chorus. I even write a lot of the guys' verses on the songs. So I'll sit there and write a whole verse and be like, hey, Jonah, how about you sing it this time?
Damn.
So that I'm not.
That's dope.
Okay.
That's dope. I mean, I noticed that too as well on some songs where it'll be you on the hook, and then the second time around the hook, another Mucho member gets to do the hook. Or even in verses where you guys will split a verse and one guy goes in and then the other one. Or in most instances, which I really like these parts, is when you guys use Dizzy's deep vocal to go under either a hook or a part of a verse. Even if he's not entirely has a whole 12 bars on the song, he's somewhere in there. So it's like, even let's say Hex doesn't have a verse on that song, you got a solo with a guitar, which he plays the guitar when it comes to the records that you guys do. So it's like, you guys kind of have this real creative way of figuring out how to involve everybody, even if not everybody's singing or you know.
And it was
That's
never,
facts.
and there was never a decision for like me to be lead singer. Like it took us a long time, I think, for everyone to even accept the concept of me being it. Right. It was just like we were all artists in the conglomerate making music how we want. And then once I became, I guess, more aggressive with writing and recording, I just naturally became lead vocalist usually. So then there are times where I'm not even on a song, but it's still a Mucho record. But because I'm not on it, doesn't mean it's not a Mucho song.
Right.
You know, DZ might be the lead vocalist with Yona as the support. But more than often, I'm the lead vocalist, and then Yona's number 2. Yona's usually verse
because
1.
I have seen Hex on the guitar.
Yeah.
So Hex, you be really putting in on producing side? Like, do you go in with Ed and both of y'all get together and make a beat?
Yeah, we'll either sometimes have a jam session, start something from fresh, or I'll be playing on my own time and make up loops, melodies, and stuff like that to bounce over to Ed. We don't have the blessing of living together again like how we were. We'd hop in, wake up, studio's right there. We'd just be making. But so we've adapted with the times. I'll be working on my own, create loops, melodies, and stuff like that to send over. Even throw a little bit of drums on there just to give it a direction, and then I'll hand it off to Ed, see what he can do with it.
So let me ask this question. All you guys can sing. All you guys, well, Hex, Ed, you guys produced. You're the writer. Dizzy also is a writer, of course. I can tell. He jumps on some of your stuff. And Yona, incredible voice as well, because I see both of you guys, y'all blend off each other perfectly on a lot of the songs. Like one time is the hook on the first hook, and then the second hook it may be Yona in this.
Exactly.
And it brings almost two different songs into one.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about you guys. Like it's
dynamic.
It's dynamic. Like you blending in two different sounds and it's getting on that beat real good, smooth. But why didn't y'all decide to be a live band instead of 5 group members like Wu-Tang? You know, being like you're the lead singer, you playing the guitar, you playing drums, Dizzy playing something, you're not playing something. Why didn't y'all decide to do that? Because it feels like you guys are talented instrumental wise. More than just, you know, you guys just writing and a DJ behind you. You guys almost feel like a band should be behind you guys tocando. And why didn't y'all choose that route? Why y'all chose the route more like Wu-Tang Clan?
That's a great question. You want me to take it?
Yeah, and I'll give a quick question. We're actually kind of doing both.
Okay.
But I'll let you elaborate.
Yeah. I would say the answer is, you ask why not. The truth is that's exactly what we do. We just we just don't always have the opportunity. So like if we have a big enough stage, we have Flaco being a part of the production and the engineering and putting together the sound.
Right.
When we have the support and we have the technical support,
Stage
and then
capacity.
let's say we have the promoter support for us to bring our instruments, we will do that every time.
Ooh,
He's on the keys, DZ's on the electrical drum pad, so he's dropping the beat the whole time. He has a guitar. Jonah and I have 2 mic stands, and that's like our 10 out of 10 show.
Nice.
But
a mix of
80%
choreography,
of the time,
live instrumentation.
we choreograph, we dance. They drop the records themselves. We don't even need a DJ to do it, but we like to work with DJs. So So they'll drop the record. We'll make the beat open where there's no drums, and Edgy and DZ are just sitting there like fucking with the drums and having fun while we're on there. We'll take out all the vocals. He'll have a guitar solo. That's the most fun and exciting show because honestly, we don't consider ourselves a boy band. We consider ourselves a band, a group.
That's what I feel.
And
I
if
feel
we
that
could do
every
that
time I
every
see you
time,
guys.
we would. But
And
when
that-
we're doing
and-
club shows, when you're at small venues, it's just you don't have the support.
The space.
And when we open for other artists, they don't want to give us all of that opportunity. 'Cause
Yeah.
And
we're going to go crazy.
Right.
So we have to kind of get in, get out. So some shows are
understand
just choreographed. We're just sitting there singing and dancing, and it's cool. We have fun. But if we could bring the show, the instruments every time.
And it sucks that I have to bring almost I hate because we had an interview before that you guys should be seeing right now with another artist. But every time I feel like some way I have to put that opinion how I feel. That's just how I feel. Y'all don't have to take none of my opinion and take it and run with it. I felt y'all like a band.
Yeah.
I felt it. I felt when I see him, when Hex plays the guitar. I didn't know that Ed produced, but now look at him producing, you writing, Dizzy writes, y'all all, he's playing on drum machine.
Yeah.
Yona, he amazing with the vocals. I'm sure he writes as well. So, and that Maui, you do it. Because you're very talented.
Even
the songs are fire. You know
even to our mix and master, Dizzy does that.
Oh yeah,
part
Dizzy
too.
is the engineer.
It's like it feels that way coming across the screen. So I don't be trying to like add my opinion to make y'all go that way. It's just my opinion. I feel that y'all guys are so talented that it's not just a DJ in the back and you guys are singing the songs and shit like. Nah, y'all complete package.
We're glad that you kind of feel that because that is our main focus. Like to make that is like the best performance in our opinion. And we get all of that.
Right. And what I love about the synergy that we have, we promote ourselves as a unit, right? So like we are like individual artists. Like even though his primary role is production, you're gonna hear him 1 out of 20 songs. His primary role is guitar. Dizzy's primary role is engineering, so he's typically mixing and mastering, recording. So he's very technical. I'm writing and recording, and Yona's writing and recording. So maybe 50 to 60% of all the vocals are Yona and I. And it could seem as though we're the individual artists and this is the production team, but the way that we brand ourselves is as a team.
And also when you hear the music, you still bring something of the other guys that may not be on the record.
You do. Every song is somebody. It's more than two. It's not just two. You can feel that
when you
somebody
listen to the
in
music, it feels like a unit too, as well at all times.
And
everybody puts their There are times where we're producing and Hex is like, "Hey, cut this, cut that, add those drums." I do the same. I don't get on there and touch the production, but I'll sit there and give ideas for a few hours to fix up the production. Flaco, you see me in the studio. I have all the ideas and these guys will help me write. I write some shit that they're like, nah, that can be better. They contribute. Ed will hop on and sing a melody for me, and then I like that melody. I'll write to it. So everyone touches the whole song the whole time.
You know what's crazy about it is that you guys do what, let's say me and Flaco did back in the day when obviously Flaco still does it now, but we do it in a podcast sense. But when I was an artist, we did that with our crew, with our squad.
With our squad.
They wasn't involved or anything, but hey man, I think you should change this word and put this one. Yeah. But y'all do it and y'all are a group, y'all squad, and that's amazing that you guys all chose to be involved in the group. Going straight forward, like basically y'all on the train straight ahead to fucking go straight to the top.
We really respect each other's skill set and opinion. Like we know that everyone, in my opinion, I think every member of Mucho is a genius in their own right. So I really have learned to, like, all of us have to humble our egos and accept all the opinions. Maybe we run with it, maybe we don't, but at least consider it, try it out, listen to this guy's idea. He's not a producer, but he does give a lot of production ideas. Like, so because of that, and because everyone is really confident in themselves as well, we really do bring out the best.
And that was gonna be my next question. Like, every one of you guys being so talented, so multifaceted, with the background experience you guys have, you guys seem like, I've been around you guys. Luckily, I've been able to share, even going out of the country, like to Puerto Rico, and going out there and filming a music video, and
Great
just seeing you guys function. Even though you guys are, speaking now in this podcast, but even outside of any kind of business move, when you guys are just hanging out, eating something, there's no ego between you guys, and you guys like almost feed off of each other's energy and complement each other. What advice can you give to maybe other people, other artists that are trying to put a team together, whether they may have the intention of all doing a group or being individuals, but what are some key points that you want to, or advice that you would give the audience as far as like when working with a team? Like, what are some things? Because you guys seem to pretty much have it down pat.
Definitely.
Like, if you can't be related, be related. That's the best.
Well, that helps a lot.
We're literal blood.
I'm gonna be against that. I'm gonna be the devil advocate on that. Just because you family don't make you family.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
You guys are friends. Just because blood was in there don't mean nothing. You guys are really
there's a
friends.
relationship.
We're
Because
brothers,
I explained that to my sister. I was like, I love you. Yeah, you my sister, but we hang out because me and you friends, obviously. Well, I can hate my sister in this motherfucker. But that don't mean anything because y'all family. Y'all family is a plus. It's a cherry on top.
Yeah.
But you guys are best friends, obviously.
So
I can tie it down to the question you were asking about what our show and how we put our stuff together. The light is on the product. The light is on what the song is gonna sound like, what the show is gonna look like, what it is when we have all our elements together. The light is going to be on the product itself, what we're trying to put out, and then it'll go to us. I think what Ed was saying about our egos, we set it aside for the benefit of the product that we're trying to put forth. And I think that's the most important part, is what we value and how we contribute based off of what that product is going to be. So that's how we take turns. We take initiative based off what is being asked for, and know our parts, right? Working together within the last 5-6 years, we know our roles as to how we function. And most importantly, how to motivate somebody or influence another. I think that's a very big point, as to working as a group, as to what ticks that person off, but then also what motivates them and what incites them, and what kind of energy you want to bring. Because I can make a loop that's like so mellow, but maybe Maui's on something that's like, it's been on a hype vibe. So it's just knowing what he wants. So then maybe I'll tailor what I've been working on to see if I can feed to
that open-mindedness to grab what you creatively do and transform it based on what, you know, to cater to the Maui, whatever he's feeling at the moment. I think that's dope. I think it takes a lot.
That's fire, because
it takes a lot of looking at the bigger picture,
right.
And I feel like there's a lot of artists that try the duos, try the group thing, and they don't focus on that bigger picture. But you guys seem to kind of all, like, you know, you all respond as a unit. I'm sure if I asked a question to Maui, he would respond like everybody else would, because they all know what the product is.
Right.
Yeah, I want to add to that too. I guess every person that you would ask, and Mucho could give you a different response to, like, what advice would you give? Because we have different roles.
Correct.
And we did have our challenges, like even being family, best friends, brothers, like.
What was those challenges?
Like
before we go into you going, let's go in depth into that, because I like to hear that, and I'm sure the public likes to hear that as well, because they may be going through something right now.
For sure.
What are those challenges that y'all had to overcome?
So the music is interesting because it's the combination of like a combined hobby, almost like a sport, and then it's also merging into being a business, right? And we're partners.
Right.
So like whenever we first started the movement, it was all fun. It was like, fuck it, we were in the studio, smoking, drinking, turning up, partying. Like, it was like so exciting because it was so fresh and new. Then you go through, you know, your phases where you're either over speculating the growth or lack of growth, right? Or and you kind of start to lose a little bit of that naive like sense of like, you know, we love this. This is why we're doing it. It's fun, excitement. It all becomes only business, and you know, is it productive? Is it growing? Are we all doing what it takes? And like, for example, a lot of my role in the business is, you know, I would consider myself somewhat of like a CEO with the business movement. So I'm always trying to create execution plans. I'm always trying to organize. I was always pushing everybody to move forward. But
before Steven came along, he was the conductor of the Mucho train.
Correct. And I know you guys before Steven as well. So it's like, I have seen that you kind of took that lead of like, what is this? Where we going with it? How we should execute this outside of just having fun and creating.
Exactly. And whenever I started to embody that role, it was never something that was given to me. It was something that I was just naturally taking, based on my personality, based on my skills, whatever it was. And I needed to grow a lot as a person because I started being very bossy. You know, I started like telling
Was
everybody.
that a challenge, bringing Steven along into Mucho
and
Info?
Trusting somebody else with the business side.
Because you said you took that role. Ed, you said he took that role.
Yeah.
Was that a challenge? You relinquishing almost that role to Steven?
I would say
by that point,
maybe
no.
No, by that time, no.
Steven came along,
because Steven came in when we were already performing. We had already done shows in front of 250, 300 people. We had released an EP, 15 songs.
Visuals out
we had badass music videos. So we already had a team. So like we had already built the foundation for Steven to come in and manage. We were actually at a point, I think, that we had an actual business, that we needed a manager to manage the business, and we didn't count on Steven to build our business. So like now that Steven stepped into something that was already busy, right? He is a really awesome guy. His ego is very much in check. So like he does act as he's managing our business instead of telling us what to do. We put him to work.
And he's militant
stepped up
with
to the
this
plate.
shit.
He's
Shout out
militant, he's
Steven.
disciplined.
Yeah.
So if you ask Steven, maybe he'd say it might have been
Which
challenging.
he comes from that background, by the way.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and
Military
all
guy.
the flowers to Steve, because Steven might say it was a little challenging to maybe take those reins from me. But for me, I was very excited to pass it on because I was at a point that I was starting to get gassed out being both the lead vocalist, the creative side, and rallying the troops.
Well, spreading yourself too thin can also be a problem on the creative side too.
Yeah, because you know it's right brain and left brain, so putting together both all the time was exhausting.
And then sometimes when lack of results can lead to frustration, and then frustration can lead to like not quite being tactful or having respect or having empathy when trying to say something or trying to motivate somebody, and then egos get bruised and piss each other off,
right?
And then you remember you are family, you got the best intention, you got to remember that
this shit was never about the music anyways, right? And so for me, I had to grow a lot, and I thank them because as my bros and as my friends and my confidants, they were able to sit me down and be like, hey man, we understand you're doing everything that you need to do, and we respect you for it, but there's a better way to go about it.
Because we can't do it what he did. Like I cannot do what he does straight up.
So
He's
then it's
wired differently.
When you're the one that's sending out 10 different commands or ideas, then you're gonna always put yourself on the spot to be critiqued, right? Those who are silent, who don't say certain things, are not gonna say the wrong thing.
Right.
You say the wrong thing when you say a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right. So if you nothing, you won't get criticism.
So then me being
perfect example.
And it goes two ways. So I had to grow with them. Thanks to them, I've been able to grow a lot. So like now we have a healthy synergy where it's like, okay, we're moving at the pace that we need to move. But I know also on their side, they also had to grow to accept what my role was, right? Because if you don't allow somebody to fully be themselves and you dim their light, and that light was what was shining to move everything forward, that can fuck it all up.
Yeah.
So you have to be humble in receiving, and you have to be humble in giving. So you got to give someone their space.
Bro,
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So we as a team have been able to collaborate and feed off of each other. And the most important thing is, like Hex said, I'll speak on that, is with the end in mind. What is the goal? Right? It's a great product. It's a great performance. It's a great movement. It's consistency. It's discipline. So that as long as we're aligned with the vision, you need somebody that's constantly reminding everyone of the vision. Yeah. Because if you don't have someone that's every week or every 2 weeks saying, all right, guys, well, what the fuck are we doing now? Yeah. Like, when are we going to get together? What's the focus? So I'll put together spreadsheets with these guys of, like, how many pieces of content we're going to make. The dates of the next...
So you're really going in. You really are business-minded when it comes to... You are the business brain. Because to put on spreadsheets and everything like that, you're talking about corporate level.
No, this guy knows the algorithms and the boom, 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 deal with this grid, blah, blah, blah.
That's amazing. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Keep going. But that right there, I have to say that because our show mainly is about that. It's about helping the artists grow from the local artists to the mainstream artists, even in their own state, because you can make a lot of money even from one state, guys. You don't have to, travel, which that is the goal, to travel all around the world, obviously. Yeah. But to have that mind right there, that's something big. Remember that, guys.
That level of organization, I think, is what has helped us maintain, because he would organize it and then ask for fuel from everybody to help ignite what these ideas are. I remember the messages that he'd be sending at 7 in the morning, woke up, had a dream or some shit. Guys, we need to do this. It's 7 in the fucking morning, bro.
That's wonderful. That sounds like me.
Right? But then it had great intention, because it definitely organized thoughts that we've had like at 2 in the morning, and then he'll come up with the list of things that we need to get together, and then boom, activity starts.
Yeah.
And to keep a group together, I think it's about being flexible. Like, if we have the same goal in mind, that's what's most important. But what do we all intend for ourselves? So there's the whole Wu-Tang concept that we can talk about.
Right. Hold on. Let's get into that.
We'll get there.
Right. Because I was gonna bring that into the next question of you guys are together, but we already in 2024. Y'all said y'all got together in COVID. Let's come back up to present times.
Okay.
Before we got on the podcast, you guys said that you guys was basically starting to work on your solo careers. How does everybody feel about everybody having a solo career? And let's say, forget everybody having a solo. That's easy. It's easy for everybody to separate. What happens when Ed is the most successful star? Mao, you may not be up there.
I'll be a cheerleader.
That's answer.
Hey, that right there.
Yeah, we're each other's brothers. We're each other's keepers. We're each other's best friends.
Biggest fans.
We have had that conversation. What if this guy blows up before this guy? What if we don't blow up as the group? This individual. At the end of the day, if anyone has the blessing of blowing up before the group, the only thing that is that's a blessing for the group. they're going to bring light to the group. They're going to bring momentum to the group. They're going to bring attention to the group. We see it as a good thing, no matter what. If this one, and this one goes first, bro. If it's me first, you're coming with me, nigga. Like we're going together.
And that goes to kind of add to the clip that has gone viral in the IDS about team, having that group of people that once they know that this is happening for that one person, everybody apply yourself to be a part of that. Not necessarily of being the artist or the main producer, but hey, can I help with this? Can I help with marketing? Can I help with this? And I have a feeling that if whichever one of these 5 guys was to be the one that if they individually blew up, everybody else would line up right behind them.
Let's ask that question.
Yeah.
Because are you guys forming a label? Is it a label now? Is it because it feels like even though Maui may be solo, Hex solo, Ed solo, Dizzy, Jonah, don't matter. Whoever solo, it feels like all 4 of y'all gonna be behind that solo project at the same time, behind it. So it sounds like y'all almost a label. Are you guys turning into a label as well?
You could probably explain it the best because we literally like last week we were kind of defining it within ourselves, so it's kind of fresh on our mind.
Yeah, and I think we've since the first day when we got started, our initial plan was Mucho Info Music,
the label,
the LLC, the business that we have, was always going to be a label. And the idea was that we were going to be individual artists in that label that just choose to collaborate freely all the time. But we started making so much music together, every song, and then I got us a lot of shows in the beginning. Like, I got different DJs and promoters. I got people to pay us. Like, I was negotiating for us. And when I did my show, 100%, I will never say that my show by myself is better than Mucho Info's. It's just impossible. Our show as a team is fucking gangster. The instruments, the dancing, the collaboration, the energy. Also, we're 5 promoters, so we would push it and pack out a club.
Plus, I'm sure it's a lot more fun. I haven't been on a stage by myself, but I could imagine being up there with your boys is like...
It's fun. Yeah. And so we started performing so much as a group that we were like, hey, I guess we're kind of like a band, So we started making music as a band. But none of us stopped making our own individual records. So we've had songs that Yona has 8, 9 songs that have been made. I have them as well. And we recently got to the point where we're like, okay, we have to be creative and we have to be open to the possibilities. What do I mean by that? If this door is this size, the door is, 6 foot by 8 feet, the hypothetical door. What if all 5 of us cannot fit through that door at the same time? Based on the way that we are, our life experiences, whatever it is that can get in the way of us all being ready to step to the plate when the opportunity comes. What if the door is smaller and we have to walk in one at a time? But if we're all down to the number one thing, which is loyalty, if we're loyal to each other and we're loyal to the movement, we understand that the end in mind is for us to become successful in the music industry. It doesn't matter what role we take, because as long as we have the funding and we have the support and we have that momentum, we're going to get to wherever we want to go. And we're all going to be deserving of what our blessings are, what we're owed, right? Whoever's hustling X amount more, if I drop 3 albums, Yona drops 10 albums, and Yona blows up, Yona deserves it. Yeah. So I'm just gonna ask Yona to let me collaborate on his next hit.
Let me get a feature.
Let me get the feature, and let me put my name on it. He's always gonna be my producer. This is always gonna be my guitarist. Yona's always gonna be my featured artist in any song that I can.
Dizzy's always the engineer. Flaco, we've worked with other engineers. Nobody touches it like Dizzy, man. No pause, no homo, but
yeah. So with that, like we have, we're now looking at it as the label, but Mucho Info, the band songs will never stop. We're going to keep dropping albums as Mucho Info.
And I hope you guys don't. Even though I can see individually you guys becoming superstars in your own right. But don't ever forget that it's something when you guys get together becomes amazing. And that Absolutely. Mucho Info squad and that clan, that group is a fist. And yes, I can poke you in the fucking eye if I open that motherfucking shit and there can be a hit. But that Mucho Info, y'all together is amazing.
And I think that ultimately the way that they have created music, the way that they've been doing it, even if individually they go their separate ways, people are always gonna be excited to say, "Yo, there's a Mucho Info record coming out." Even if they all 5 of them successfully individual, once they come back together, is like, I'm sure La Casa de los Leones, if they were to ever do a record, which is Joy Lee Randy, J.K. Maxima, and who was the fifth? Gelo Star. I'm sure if they did something dope right now, people would be excited to see it because at one point they were all a part of a conglomerate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's that feeling that you.
But
give
it's not
it
even the
music.
same. You can't even compare it. That's
No,
what's
you
crazy
can't fully
because
compare
it's so in their own lane that
True.
because Joy Lee Randy got together with J Maxima and Gelo Star.
Well, it was a project.
After
it was afterwards. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. They didn't, but they're all coming together as a conglomerate.
Like Mucho Info is something fucking brand new on y'all motherfucking ass, straight up.
No lie.
Like it's nobody doing it,
Nah.
and that's what's makes it great because with two people don't know how to work together.
It's tough. Duos are scarce.
Right.
Why you looking at Flacco so hard? Like, he's trying to say something, man.
Bro, he's trying to say something.
Me and Flacco we get along great. So it's crazy. It's crazy that we get along too good. Sometimes I be trying to start catching person. Mira, coño,
man.
You know, this is something that it's a statement that can sum it all up. We don't like to focus. We don't have a scarcity mindset. We have an abundance mindset. So for us, it's not this or that. We see it as this and that.
Ooh,
right? So
say
like,
it for the motherfuckers in the back.
Right. So at the end of the day, we're not separating. You know, we're always gonna be together. How we package the product is how they're gonna see it, and whatever gets the most customers is the way we're gonna continue to push it. But we're all gonna own equity.
Sorry, man.
Damn, bro, it's straight gems in this motherfucker.
Maui got me over here acting like I'm from. Well, not acting, but he taking me back into the day. Shout it, man. What the fuck? Shout it.
Hey, I feel like,
he over there spitting. He preaching on y'all ass
I'm
right now, bro.
I'm at a networking convention right now,
Like,
and I'm listening to the
It's
speaker.
wonderful, and hopefully, if you guys are starting a group, you guys can end up like Mucho Info too. But we congratulate you guys that you making great music. Your visuals is off the fucking chain. You guys have made it. Right now, you guys are all the way made it, and I know everybody has individual goals, but I'm saying that to remind you guys that it's a beginning that you guys wasn't doing this shit, and now you guys are off the chain, and you all's got the individuality, and you guys coming together and becoming Mucho Info is amazing. You guys are doing great things, and you guys keep that shit up. All the songs sound amazing, especially I wish Yona and Dizzy was here so we can, you know,
Talk
to their motherfucking ass too.
Next time.
You guys sound amazing,
we'll get them
man.
in there.
Like y'all got the formula already, and I can't wait to see you guys at the top of that fucking mountain because it's nobody in front of you guys.
Now,
I appreciate that.
Quick thing, we do like to ask our artists invite this. What is one piece of advice, and you guys can go individually. What is a piece of advice you guys will give yourself, like a younger version of you? Maybe when you guys first started really finding the passion of doing this music, what is an advice you could give yourself now to the younger
individual? I want to hear from every last one of you guys.
You start? You first. If you have the desire, don't wait. Don't waste time, man. I just wish I told myself 10, 15 years ago, start now and go fucking hard. Like, screw everyone's opinion, which was I never worried about it. Really, it was making my parents proud. But even screw that.
Right, like, that's an opinion right there.
You know,
right.
Just do it, man. Go for it and take it seriously. And big piece of advice to you, young edgy, don't fuck up your credit and your finances. That shit just got in my own way so bad. It kept me back, dude. Like, people think that's not important, but that shit is sadly and fortunately, unfortunately, it's one of the most important things in life. Having control of your finances. So young edgy, 10 years ago, me, get your shit together with the money. That's what I would tell myself straight up. Like, just get it right, get it tight.
Right. What's up, Ed?
Yeah, I would tell young Hex, stay consistent and stay hungry. Someone who knows everything can't learn something new. So I got complacent and, put my guitar down for a little bit and got a little rusty. But I would tell myself, stay consistent every day, be hungry. Don't be scared to learn something new, even if it's not what you're focusing on. I think a new skill, a new talent is something that will reignite the excitement that sometimes you may feel a little stagnant on what you're currently working on, but always staying a student.
Oh, always staying a student. That's key. That's major.
That's amazing.
What about you, Maui?
What would I tell young Maui? Too much. That motherfucker needed a lot of advice.
It's real.
I would say the biggest thing that I would tell young Maui like 10 years ago, I guess, is just to have more faith.
Oof.
Be more patient.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've always been a huge critic on myself, bigger than anybody else, and the biggest thing I should have been told at that time was to have more patience with myself and have more empathy on others.
Ooh.
So like I had to learn to speak to people not in the way that I speak to myself. So like I'm so hard on myself that it's like when I fuck up or when I waste time or when I don't do what I have to do, I'm like beating myself up. And that's what pushes me to always to improve and to be better. But that's the same way that I was with my team. Young me was like, yo, everybody's not fucking getting up and going to the studio and, you know, I'm over here doing this and that. And it was just bad energy.
Get your fat ass in the gym. No, it's fine.
That was like that trainer, you know? So, and really, at the end of the day, it was like a lack of patience and a lack of faith, right? Because if I had more patience, I would just relax. You know, at the end of the day, you just got to let God's plan work. As long as you're working, you're grinding, you're consistent, you know, just hold your emotions tight, keep your faith strong, because you got to stay optimistic, positive all the way through. Everything has its way of working itself out. And that's the only thing I would have told myself is to relax. Take it easy,
That's
man.
fire.
Yeah.
That's real dope. Now, going backwards, now jumping back to the future or now and moving forward, what are you guys bringing on the table? I know you guys have been in the studio a lot lately, working. You guys have been coming back in town a lot. Because, by the way, guys, these guys started everything in Atlanta and then went and moved to Florida and took over down there as well, but still come to Atlanta. So these guys to us, they're still Atlanta natives. They are here very often, and they out here cooking with some of the dopest producers, songwriters out here. So
you guys are from Atlanta, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're from Atlanta. They just, you know, they're
Born in Boston, Massachusetts, but raised in
Don't claim
Atlanta
that
our
shit.
whole life.
Don't claim that
ATL,
shit.
ATL.
We definitely
A-Town, baby,
Atlanteans.
A-Town.
No, we ATLians. Straight up.
Aliens, bro.
So what's in store? What can the audience, what can the people that are getting to know you, those that already know you, expect for you guys for the end of this year in 2025?
I want to share one last piece of advice to everybody.
Oh,
no
yes, sir.
excuses. Get you a home studio if you're a musician or a producer or
Facts.
an artist.
Facts.
Learn how to record yourself. Learn how to produce yourself. Wait on nobody. Get your home studio. For me personally, I just love being in there. It's fun. So, but
It's like a playground.
Don't
Get
be
in there.
dependent on fucking anybody.
That's right.
That's Mucho's ultimate super strength.
Self-reliance.
We write, record, release at our own fucking will.
You motherfuckers are like Captain Planet.
Hey, for real.
When
When
the
the
powers
powers
come
combine,
We're
No,
not
we're
waiting
like
on
Mermaid Man
nobody.
and Barnacle Boy.
the mucho knots,
So
yo.
many artists won't grow or won't advance because of their amount of dependency that they blame everybody else for why they can't move.
Waiting on someone
Right?
or something.
Oh, the engineer hasn't sent my shit back. Oh, I haven't gotten, you know, the video for my music video. Oh, you know, I haven't had the time or the money to go record in the studio.
It's a YouTube beat. I don't have the beat.
There's so many
Yep.
variables
Man,
that are
damn.
stopping your
Damn.
manufacturing.
Boy, they-
Get your
The
manufacturing
YouTube
in
was kinda-
place.
He hit me in the heart. I don't got the beat. It's a YouTube beat.
That's the biggest one I've heard.
Shit.
Yo, that's awesome, man. But no, I think I
But
think
what's to come?
what's to come? What's to come?
So I think something awesome that's coming this year is that we've been talking about it for some time, but Mucho Nuts are gonna feel it this next year.
Nice.
We're opening the floodgates. We've been putting records away since COVID. Like, you know, we have 25, 30 plus records that are gonna be all
Las que
dropped
tardaron en
next
salir.
year.
Nice.
So we've gotten to the point now that we're like, hey, the strategy has been cool, it's been working, the videos or whatever, but we have been listening to our music lately. We've been getting together. We're getting older, right? Life is gonna continue.
life is
moving.
lifing.
Life is lifing.
We are
And
also
we're-
getting better, and our sound is more polished, in my opinion.
That's fine.
That's right. You tell them
good,
that.
as it should.
Shit.
And because of that, we're like, oh, we gotta hold this one. We gotta hold this one. But nah, fuck the holding this one and that one. It's coming.
Is
So
this
for
starting
Mucho
in
Info-
2025?
2025,
okay.
we're opening the floodgates where people feel Mucho Info, the conglomerate, on top of Mucho Info being the band.
Okay.
Something really cool that's happening here in Atlanta. There's a shout out to a really awesome artist that we just recently got to meet, Calderoki.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Shout out to Calderoki.
finally.
So-
I've been waiting for this cook up between y'all for real.
So we
no
were
lie.
just in the studio this week, you know, thanks to our manager Steven, he set that up. And I mean, I can honestly say I've never heard a song like that anywhere. The vibe, I think you got a little sneak peek.
Got a little sneak peek, you know what I'm saying? You know, your boy.
So that's right.
right.
To come. We'll make announcements as to when that's happening. We'll get a authorization from Steven himself, and then that's something amazing. Shout out to him, super talented artist, extremely humble, awesome guy. And
great mindset too. He seems like he's going places.
Pro,
like he's focused. He knows, he speaks it.
Great mindset and team.
He said, "I'm putting Atlanta on the map."
Too.
Well, we've said it here in the podcast plenty times. I'm sure y'all tired of us saying it, but Calderoki, you know, he has one of the most structured teams out here, as even independently, because it's not like he has somebody behind him with a lot of money. This is all a team effort that he has going on, and very, very business minded and very humble for knowing all of that and being who he is. He's a very humble guy, and creatively, from what I got to hear, you know, shit is awesome, bro. Yeah, I can't wait for that shit to drop.
He opened the doors to us and made us feel like home. The way that he has his ambiance is very opening. Like, again, no egos. It's really something that we resonated with, and it was just something that
you can tell when someone's got a good thing going by their team, like you said. Like you can tell the rest of his team, like they're sharp guys, just as kind, just as nice.
Just show you love the same way.
And they each have their strength. Like you can see, this guy's clearly the manager. This guy's clearly the engineer. Like they're there for him.
They got the mucho spirit.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see that.
For real. And and that's one thing that I've always characterized, even me sitting down with him individually. I said, bro, you guys move kind of like how Mucho moves, in the sense of like everything's a team. Everybody's a piece of the puzzle, and it just works.
You guys got it, bro.
But now we're excited to get to hopefully hear that out. Hopefully that record drops soon. But yeah, man, we appreciate you guys for coming to the podcast. Thank you for taking time. I know this is a podcast that has been in the making for a long time now.
Yeah, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, no, I'm glad
it's gonna continue to happen.
It's gonna continue. We're gonna follow up like we always do. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna bring it back.
About to bring it.
Hopefully next time Dizzy and Jonah are here. But either way, we had a blast with you guys. Make sure, guys, subscribe, follow, hit the link. Big shout out to our sponsor, Carreta de Oro. Once again, man, they are in the building, and we are, working on some events and stuff with Carreta that we will be talking about soon with more details. But we want to give a big shout out to Mucho Info in the building.
Which you can follow him just like that, Mucho Info
and all
on Instagram, and I'm sure everywhere, right? Mucho Info.
Everywhere.
YouTube, Spotify, everything.
Google ask your mama. It's Mucho Info.
Don't ask your mama, ask your bitch.
Hey.
She probably know.
Oh,
hey.
We've been there.
Yeah,
he said we've been there.
So, we got Mucho over here, and we in Atlanta.
Facts.
InDaSpot, the hottest podcast in Atlanta. Thanks for having us, guys.
We appreciate you guys coming, man.
Thank you for the time, man.
Appreciate you.
Once again, man, it's your boy FLA.
And this is your captain speaking, Capitol.
And we got Mucho over here.
Hey, we got Mucho over here.
And you are listening to InDaSpot. Let's get it.
Cuarto al 1027. Yo te quiero sentir, aquí no hay celos de ese cuerpito. Yo soy el dueño y vamos pa'l cuarto.